Hi, and welcome to the IT to Myself podcast. My name is Matthew Miniman, and this is episode 36. What can fireworks teach us about getting into IT? So, fireworks, they can be fun. Light stuff on fire, watch it explode in the sky. That's kind of cool. You can also, have tiny fireworks, let them explode for the kids, things that the little kids will love. You get pretty lights and certain things happen with fireworks. Some of them can be really complicated. You light a firework and it spins on the ground, or it operates a tank, rolls and fires bullets at a particular object or something like that. There's all kinds of fireworks. You can get big giant boxes that have tons of mortars that do a lot of aerial displays and things like that. And so fireworks can be really fun. And I live in Colorado, so we don't get fireworks because fires are a thing, and we don't know how to do proper fire mitigation here. So, yeah, we don't get fireworks. But all of the states around us, all of the neighboring states around us get fireworks. And so it's very easy to go and pick up, $300 worth of fireworks and blow shit up. And it can be a lot of fun. I won't lie. IT can be a lot of fun, too, if you have the right mentality for it. And like with fireworks, IT can be done by just about anybody. You don't have to have a pyrotechnics license to go out and buy fireworks. In fact, you don't have to have a pyrotechnics license to go out and buy the most extreme fireworks. If you can find somebody who's going to sell them, you can just buy them and light them on fire. There might be certain laws in certain states or certain municipalities, but really, if you can find it, you can light it on fire. Wyoming, the state that is Colorado's hat, they sell anything to anybody. You go and buy whatever you want, any type of aerial display. Yeah, that's partially because even if the entire state of Wyoming were to burn down, nobody would care. But it's also because there's just the area around Wyoming, there's just not a whole lot there. Whereas in Colorado, we have these giant forests that are on mountains that are very prone to just becoming tinderboxes. Anyway, like with IT, like with fireworks, anybody in IT can do anything. You don't have to have any specific license. You don't have to have any specific certification or training or degree. And this is a thing that I think is really unique to the industry of IT. You don't need to be a part of a larger group in order to work on computer equipment. You don't need to have a 7-year degree to work on IT. A kid coming out of high school can earn as much as somebody who has been in the workforce for 40 years. And that is both a good and a bad thing. Because the median salary of an IT person is somewhere around $80,000 a year, which can sound both high and low. High on the fact that includes starting entry-level positions. The average rate for an entry-level position is somewhere around $60,000, which is a lot. I mean, if I were earning $60,000 as an 18-year-old, I probably have more money than I know what to do with. But it's not a lot when you're considering a long-term profession. But the median salary is somewhere around $80,000 a year, and it creeps up pretty significantly every year. It is an industry that breeds people who deserve more money and work hard. That's not to say all IT people are created the same, and that's not to say that all IT jobs need to be valued at a high rate. But the thing to remember is that IT jobs, you get paid a lot, and you don't have to have a degree to go and get those jobs. In fact, sometimes a degree can be a detriment to you. We'll get into that a little bit later. But anyway, in order to get into IT, all you need to do is have kind of the will. I mean, it's not like in you can't it's not like a lawyer where you can't just have a passion for law and suddenly be practicing law. No, in order to be a lawyer, you have to pass the bar exam. You have to typically go to school for a long time to figure that out. There, you can take the bar exam without going to school, but without having the guidance of people who've done it before you, it's a little harder. Not so with IT. You don't need that exam. You don't need that you don't need that bar exam. You don't need that education in order to do that. In order to be a doctor, you have to have a medical license. You have to have gone to school for that. There is no way around it. In order to be a doctor, you have to. And so that's the thing. You have to go to school for like 17 fucking years after high school in order to get a medical license to practice medicine. Not so with IT. You don't need that. You can get into a high-paying IT job without having to go to school. Now, why is that? Why is this the case? That it is because when you are an IT individual, you're working on technology. And technology doesn't care about your license or your certifications or how much experience you have. If you know how to work on it, you can work on it. That's it. There's no physical problem with you fucking up an IT machine. There's no physical problem. So you can make mistakes in IT. And honestly, the best people in IT are people who learn how to rebound from a mistake. And aren't afraid to make them on devices. And so being an IT professional, you have the opportunity to do certain things that you don't get as much leeway in other professions as you do with as an IT person. And think about it this way. If you were an electrician and you went to school or became a tradesman and had a journeyman teaching you and you electrocuted somebody, probably wouldn't be an electrician. You'd probably be in jail. Or, if you wire something wrong as an electrician, you can catch a building on fire, which has a real physical impact that you cannot fix yourself. However, as an IT person, you fuck a computer, I'm just going to reinstall the operating system. Sorry. And then you can recover all your data some other way. That is kind of how it differs from other professions and how a lot of other professions can suffer from in ways that IT can't. I can make a mistake on a printer and nobody gives a shit because guess what? It's a fucking printer. Nobody cares. They all know they suck. Everybody knows they suck. But if I were to accidentally forget to put oil in your car, that would be a bad thing as a mechanic. So, there are a lot of different aspects to IT that you don't get in other industries. So what the fuck does this mean for you if you want to get into IT? Well, the nice part about it is that you don't need that degree. You don't need to go to school. You don't need to do anything. The barrier of entry is just your desire to do the job. Now, going into IT with no experience, with no credentials, with no certifications, it's going to be a lot harder for you to get a higher paying job. It's going to be harder for you to actually get a job that you want to do. Typically, as an IT person, if you come in with no knowledge, no expertise, no nothing, you are going to come in as a help desk or support desk person, which means you're going to be doing a lot of the IT grunt work, which kind of sounds funny because it's not like, you go break this rock, go carry this thing over there, go do this, go do that. It's more like, hey, go plug in this computer. Hey, go replace this mouse. Hey, go explain to this person why their chair isn't something that IT takes care of. Things like that. So, being a tier 1 support, that's basically what you're going to do. But that is going to lead you to being able to get a tier 2 job. and eventually a tier 3 job. And you're going to work your way all the way up to being an engineer. And then as an engineer, you can work your way up to being an architect. And then as an architect, you can work your way into being just anything you want, which is unique. Now, all of this is not to say that IT certifications, IT education, IT degrees are not worth it, because they certainly are, but they are teaching you a different skill set. So in the world of IT, there are kind of two planes of existence, and they're two sides of a coin, and it's kind of difficult to go from one to the other. So if you are going to school for an IT degree in like computer science or cybersecurity or whatever, code development, whatever, you are not actually learning skills that are usable in IT. Not really. You are learning the theory of how to do IT, which is fucking fantastic, but is ultimately worthless. Because as an IT person, if you know the theory, that's fucking great. Now tell me how to troubleshoot this fucking Adobe. tell me how Adobe is fucking up in this way. Tell me what this fucking error means. And as a person who has no practical experience in IT, you're going to be kind of lost in that. The reason that you go to school for IT, what you're doing as somebody who's going to college for it, is you're becoming a manager. You are becoming somebody who can translate tech speak into normal parlance and understand what the fuck you mean. And in fact, some of the smartest people I know have gotten IT degrees and have very little practical experience in IT. And so there's this gap of experience and knowledge where they understand what they want to do with IT. They just don't know how to get from point A to point B. And that's not to say that these people are entirely useless in the workforce. It's just these guys are managers. These guys are going to be the ones running the show in an IT shop. They're the ones that are going to be keeping people on task and making sure that they're not filling bullshit and that they are actually doing their jobs. Because part of the problem with IT folk is that a lot of them who don't want to actually do any work, who want to be lazy, hide behind technical knowledge to make sure that they don't actually have to do their job or do it well. So, they'll be like, oh, well, I'm waiting on the server. It's just doing its thing. The server, it's compiling its code. So that way, that's why it's slow today. It's compiling its code. It's got to do that every now and then, guys. And, as somebody who knows nothing about IT, that can sound pretty legit. But for anybody who's actually worked in IT for a day, you're like, yeah, you're full of shit. Get to work. So, these types of things are really great for managers to know. And getting a degree in IT can help you with that. But you get no practical experience. You're not going to be an engineer coming out of college. And I think that is where the disconnect is, because a lot of applicants will apply for engineering jobs having cybersecurity degree having a cybersecurity degree or having a computer science degree, and they'll expect to get this high paying engineering job. And you don't have any practical experience. I don't give a fuck what your degree is. You don't have any practical experience. You're not an engineer. That's just not how this works. So you need to work up through entry-level jobs. And so, you can go through the whole rigmarole of getting a degree and getting into IT, but you just don't expect to be an engineer. Don't expect to have hands-on experience with the stuff that you're working on. You're going to have theoretical experience. And so if you want to actually work in IT and do stuff with computers and work on servers and understand virtualization and all that, just do. And that's all that's really the biggest part is you don't need a degree. You don't need certifications. They help when finding a job. But if you have a job in IT, you don't need those things to progress further. So, if you want to get into IT, first find a job. Find a job that'll do it for you, or that'll help teach you. Find a help desk position. Find an entry level position in IT. It's not glamorous. It's not supposed to be. It is an entry level position, but they pay pretty well for an entry level position because they're jobs that are hard to fill, and especially if you can find one that is like overnight. That's fantastic. Like overnight help desk positions pay well. They're kind of fun, and you have the downtime to learn a whole bunch of stuff on your own. And so I definitely suggest anybody who wants to start in IT, really just find a job first. Go find a job. I know a lot of jobs are looking for experience, but they all do. That's all they want. But an entry level position is an entry level position. You have to find one and just get in somewhere. Another thing you can do to start yourself in IT is just start breaking your own computers. Just start doing things on your computers, figuring out how to do things. Search for what you want on what you want to do on websites. Watch videos, listen to podcasts, understand the theory, and get practical experience. If you have hardware, or you can get some excess hardware that people are no longer using, that helps as well. Doing things like building yourself a server, understanding the concepts of networking and things like that will help you tremendously in getting an IT job and also being able to actually be productive in the workforce. The other thing that you have to understand about being an IT person is that you have to it's not gonna be easy. Like, it's not intended to be easy. This job is fucking hard. And the reason that is because as an IT person, you are expected to know everything about every piece of technology. I've said that before. That's part of the problem with burnout with IT people, is that we fail a lot because we get expected to have this wide fucking breadth of experience and knowledge, because everything is IT. Anything that uses electricity is somehow now IT. And so, you have to have experience with printers and computers and servers and switches and TVs and phones and gaming consoles and doors and locks and security systems and cameras and so on and so on and so on. And you need all of this experience because that's what you're expected to know, because your bosses will ask you how to do things that involve all of these aspects and different things. And in no other profession are you asked to have such a wide breadth of knowledge. There are lawyers who practice specific aspects of law. There are divorce lawyers. There are adoption lawyers. There are criminal lawyers. There are lawyers who specifically look at finances. There are lawyers who specifically look at contracts between businesses. And so, as a lawyer, you're not really, you can practice law in any function in any way, but your breadth of experience, your expectation of experience isn't going to be nearly as wide as somebody in IT. That's just the case. Your breadth of experience in IT is what is going to cause you to lose sleep and hate the world, because people can be so dumb with everything, but they expect you to know it because you know IT. So, like with IT, and you can get yourself, like with IT, you can get yourself a cyber or a security or IT degree. You can do that, just like you can get a pyrotechnics license. But doing that might actually take some of the fun away from the job, because with a pyrotechnics license, you learn all of the safety features. You learn everything about fireworks and how different things react and how to plan and so on and so forth. And that can really suck some of the joy out of lighting fireworks, because you have all of this you have all of this theoretical knowledge about it. And Um, well, let's just tell the truth. You're never gonna suck the joy out of lighting shit on fire and blowing it up. It's just not gonna happen. But there's always the chance. With a IT degree, IT profession, it might suck some of the joy out of doing the job, because the theory is great, but the practical knowledge is better. And without the practical knowledge, you might not enjoy or understand why some of the stuff is as cool as it fucking is. And of course, with IT, like with lighting stuff on fire, you have to do it knowledgeably, because you can fuck a whole bunch of shit up. If you don't install a server properly or don't understand how file shares work, you can really fuck up a business. Just like, if you light something on fire and have it in your hand and let it explode, you can lose a hand. That is totally plausible and possible. And so if you want to get into IT, my suggestion is this: start trying. Just start doing stuff. Again, that's really all it is. Just start doing stuff. Just like if you want to start lighting stuff on fire, well, you absolutely can. Please, no, don't perform arson because I told you to. That's dumb. But don't don't limit yourself to a job. Don't wait on the job to come to you. You have to kind of go to the job. You have to find how to get into a position in IT. And some of that is going to be just finding practical experience on your own. And in an interview, if you get asked, well, I don't see that you have any practical experience, you don't have any business experience in IT, and if you've done the work, if you've done some stuff in the background, you can be like, well, I haven't actually done any work related to IT, but I mess with stuff in the background all the time. I have servers, I've got blah blah blah, I've got a Plex server, blah blah blah. You can do all of that. You can say that, and that will help you in an interview. That'll help you land a job. If you can say something like that, where I don't really have any work experience with it, yeah, but I play with this stuff all the time at home. You're gonna see an IT manager's eyes light up. They're gonna be like, oh, well, you have some practical experience. Then you are at least trying. And so, yeah, just start doing stuff. If you're trying to get in IT, you don't necessarily need a certification to get in. They help, but they ultimately aren't going to be what propels you into the industry. Now, once you get into IT, once you're there and you actually have a job, the rule of thumb is don't be satisfied. You're not gonna move up in IT by just doing that job that you're doing. You're not gonna move up in IT by doing a help desk 1. You might get to help desk 2. You might get to help desk 3 by just performing help desk tasks. But in order to get past that and become an engineer or an architect, you need to continue to do stuff on your own and just play. Find opportunities to learn more. Ask your higher tiers how to explain things to you. Ask them to teach you more stuff about what you're doing. Most IT guys are antisocial at best, I understand, but a lot of them will be happy to teach you how to do something in the effort for them to be lazy. That is how I got my start, because the system administrator I was working under as a junior IT professional decided that he didn't want to do a lot of the tasks, and so it would be great if I knew how to do them so that he could throw that responsibility on me and no longer have to worry about it himself. And that is how I got my start. Like, that's how I got in. I just started doing the things that he no longer wanted to do. And so as a junior IT professional, that's how you can do it. Now, again, you're going to get kind of shit jobs because it's the stuff that people don't want to do. But honestly, if you're doing it and you can put it on a resume, why not? It's going to help you in the long run. So that's kind of the key there. Is in IT, you have to take the opportunities that are there. It doesn't matter if they're coming from a technical resource or not. It doesn't matter if it's technically your job. If you can put it on your resume, it will help you find a better job. It'll help you move up in the industry. It'll help you gain more experience. It'll help you do things better. Learn, experience, and observe. Those are the ways to move up in IT. And when you are in IT, if you're going to light something on fire, at least be outside of the building. All right, guys, that's all I got time for. Have a great day.